This is the Relevant Podcast.
It's Friday, June 11th, 2021, and it's the Relevant Podcast. Here in Orlando, I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and joining me from Loverland, Virginia, it's Jesse Carey.
Hello, hello.
From Austin, Texas, author, speaker, extraordinaire, Jamie Ivey.
Hey, guys.
And from Nashville, Tennessee, the reason why we are recording at the wrong time this week.
Shut your face.
Artist, producer, mogul, Derek Minor.
Shut your face. You need to tell the whole story, too.
Were you doing something real fancy?
Hey, you
need to tell the whole story.
Here's the reason. It's it's worth it, though. It's worth it. But the risk you have in scheduling when you have famous artists on your podcast is that sometimes they got to shoot music videos instead of recording the podcast. So today, hey, am I telling a lie?
Don't forget that you're like, yo, we got to push the podcast back an hour. If we let that part out. You let that part out. So everything was scheduled perfectly on my end, and then
that was my fault. But it wasn't an hour. It was like 20 minutes. It was 20 minutes. Either way, I get some music video shoots are just immovable. You know, I get that. You know, you can't have. Derek's got out there. He's got craft services. He's got directors. He's got lighting guys. He can't have them just sitting around. No. Time is money. Money is time.
Yeah. So here's, dear listener, here's why I even mention that is because normally we record midweek, giving our trusted producer, Clark, plenty of time to clean up all the horrible things that go wrong when we get together. Okay, so you get a listenable finished product, a lovely, encouraging, sometimes funny, listenable podcast.
Non-explicit, all the things. It's good to go.
It's not relevant after dark. It's good to go. Safe for little ears most of the time, unless Jesse gets going on enterprising love makers. But today we're recording right before we post it. So Clark has got maybe one pass, one quick pass. So
it's gonna be great, but just in case it's not great.
Oh, he's wearing a sorry shirt.
I got a good feel. I feel like
dude, I wear that shirt every week, man. Every week I wear that shirt.
I feel like this is a squad that performs a little bit better when the heat is on.
Under the pressure,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's like when you see like a basketball team come out and they're a little hobbled, they're a little nicked up, they really got to dig deep. And it's March Madness, okay? You don't have time to spend the normal time that you do in that ice tank.
Exactly.
You gotta recovering.
Go.
You got to put the rally cap on and just do this thing, Right. Hamstrings be darned. Let's do it, guys.
That's the theme of today's show. Hamstrings be darned. Hey, we do have a great show in store for you. Coming up later, we talked to one of my spiritual heroes. Christine Caine is on the show today. And also... a lot of times we have artists on and stuff. And so, we're highlighting big new albums and things like that. We have an artist coming up on the show today who's a friend. And the story behind this project is super cool. Phil LaRue is joining us. He has a new single out that we want you guys to hear. And that's really what it is. He was full context is Phil was on our Wyoming trip with us. Right. And his life has been a wild ride over the last few years. We'll just put it that way. And we're sitting around the campfire one night and he's telling the story of what's gone on in his life. And he sadly went through a divorce and then found love again and got married. And he's telling us this whirlwind, crazy romance story. And he's like, I actually just wrote some songs about it. You want to hear them? And I'm telling you, he put them on and they are some of the best songs I've heard in a long time. And it's just incredible. And we're like, let's get these songs on the podcast and have Phil come on and tell us about them. So Phil LaRue's coming up later. I can't wait for you to hear the music that he's making right now. It's really cool. So
he's fire.
He's fire.
He's a great dude. And did I see, Derek, is it too, I don't know if I'm allowed to reveal this, but was he involved with these music video shoots that were, the
group chat?
There may be a Phil LaRue sighting in one of my music videos. I sent a picture to the group chat.
Oh my gosh, this is like on my bucket list. I want to be in a music video, Derek.
Pull up. Hey, you coming to the pop-up. Maybe you'll do it.
You don't want Phil's role because the picture that was sent was like, you remember that scene in Dumb and Dumber where there's two grown men on a little scooter?
Yes, that's my favorite.
Phil was driving the little scooter, and Derek Minor, who is not a small man, was riding strapped around Phil.
Gosh.
That was the picture. So I don't think you want.
This scooter is just too little for me.
Yeah,
like, it's just too little for me.
It was a full-size Vespa. Just FYI, it was a full-size Vespa. It's not like the little Dumb and Dumber scooter. It's just a normal Italian.
Now I have a question,
I'm gonna
Derek.
send a picture to the group chat.
Derek, I have a question. Was this was the scooter is the scooter in the music video, or is that Phil's transportation to the music video?
It was from the dressing room.
That was
over
just
to
him
the
going
set.
to lunch.
It may or may not be in the video. You just got to watch the video.
That's funny.
Oh,
When
I
does this
got the
video come out,
picture.
Derek? How long does a video take?
This is awesome.
How long does it take? When are we going to see this?
I don't know. Well, hopefully end of the month. So they got everything's cut. So then hopefully they'll get to editing and my editors are pretty quick.
Assuming your videographers don't get robbed.
Oh,
Yeah, this is the second pass at this video.
the same
So
video that you tried to do before.
Yeah, if this one doesn't come out, then guys, I'm sorry. It's not in God's
this will not
will.
come out. God's seriously going, Derek, stop it. Derek, God is.
There's a different strategy for marketing this song.
It's that's what it is.
All right. Yep. Well, we also have a game coming up at the end of the show that you're not going to want to miss. I guess I should also tell listeners, because we had to move the recording time because of the rock star on the cast, because we had to move it, we lost Tyler Huckabee. He's on vacation today, so we have no relevant news. And but he did write the game at the end of the show.
Oh,
so
good. It's a Tyler
stay
game.
tuned for that.
Oh, sure. I'm sure he punished us.
No, it's actually really funny. Okay, so there you go. Stay tuned. Up next, it's Slices. You're listening to Churches and Robert Smith. The song is How Not to Drown. Just swim. Keep swimming. Well, today's broadcast is brought to you by literally my favorite luggage brand, Away. Away is a modern lifestyle brand that creates thoughtful products for every traveler and every kind of trip. They started with the perfect suitcase, which I have, crafted with features that make travel more seamless. And now, when travel looks more different than ever, you can count on Away's range of suitcases, bags, and accessories whenever you take that next trip. I took my Away bag to our Wyoming trip, and I am excited about all of the other adventures planned for this summer with Away. So whether it's a trip around the corner, a weekend away, or an extended stay with friends and family, we're all navigating the current reality of travel. All of Away's suitcases are designed to last a lifetime with durable exteriors that can even withstand the roughest of baggage handlers. Best of all, if any part of your suitcase breaks, Away's standout customer service team will arrange to have it fixed or replaced. And get this, there's also a 100-day trial on everything they make. You can take the product out on the road, live with it, travel with it, get lost with it for 100 days. If you decide it's not for you, you can return any non-personalized item for a full refund during that period. No ifs, ands, or asterisks. Away offers free shipping and returns on any order within the US, UK, Europe, and Canada. Start your 100-day trial and shop the entire Away lineup of travel essentials, including their best-selling suitcases at awaytravel.com/relevant. That's awaytravel.com/relevant. Okay, it's time for
Slices.
Man, look at that. Played live too, because you can't do it in post. We're like a morning Zoo Crew radio show right now. We got the sound effects. We're going live with it.
And look, the other thing too, like I love relevant news, and obviously I love Tyler deeply.
Yeah,
but
deeply.
This does just feel like a breezy sort of, just a different vibe today. It's a little later in the week. It's a little closer to Friday. Not covering a lot of hard news, playing games, chopping it up with Phil LaRue. I mean, we spent quite a bit of time on mopeds this morning already. I just feel like this is kind of a breezy fun.
It's like a fun morning show. Drive to work. Drive hour. Yeah.
A little behind the scenes about Phil LaRue is he's a very good looking individual. We can say that he's a good looking guy, right?
Very handsome man.
And he's aware, I think, of how good looking he is, because when we were in Wyoming, I don't think I saw him wear a shirt.
He was
I never
guns
wore a
out.
shirt.
He was the guy.
I don't
the guy
know if
in the
he
group.
brought
There's
a
always
shirt.
a guy in the group. Yeah, I don't know if he brought a shirt. TSA.
I mean, when I saw him in the airport, he was just cruising right through.
So
he had a mask, but no shirt.
No shirt. So yesterday, Tyler was recording this conversation that you'll hear later, and I tried to call Tyler, and he's like, "Hey, I'm on with Phil LaRue right now," and I just texted as a joke, tell him to put a shirt on. And so then Tyler calls me back a little while later, and I go, "Hey, did you tell him put a shirt on?" It's like an inside joke from our trip, and he goes, "Yeah, I told him." Apparently, though, during their interview, he was wearing a shirt that was not buttoned.
Oh.
And so Phil actually recorded this half shirtless. And so when Tyler said, "Hey, put your shirt on," he thought it was actually me telling him to tell Phil to put his shirt on. Like I knew somehow that he had his chest exposed. So Phil LaRue does not like top half clothing is what we're learning.
Yeah. Each his own.
All right, it's time for slices. What do you have, Jesse?
All right. Well, I have a piece of news that confirms what many people who've attended a Thanksgiving dinner in the last 5 or 6 years.
I thought you were going to bring all the UFO stuff that you were texting all week.
I mean, I can. I feel like
Did they release it?
I mean, listen, Cameron, I can bail. I can give you a quick. Give you a quick overview of this slice and just go to the UFO revelations if you want.
Do it. We don't have relevant news, so you can do the UFO thing as a pseudo relevant news. So
okay, hold on. Let me pull up my text thread just so
literally it was a whole thread. Yeah.
Okay, so all right, so I was going to bring a slice, and I'm glad Cameron called the audible because I really wanted to bring the UFO stuff again because I feel like it's super interesting. Derek, me, and Cameron, and a couple dudes when we were in Wyoming had a long conversation, and I laid out my theory of what's happening, and I feel like I presented a pretty compelling case, but I have more evidence that my theory is right.
Oh.
And no one in the media is talking about this. No one in the media it seems to be, looking at what's hiding in plain sight. Okay, so I'm going to get to that. But first, I was going to say that the other piece I was going to bring is a study that confirms what anyone who's gone to their parents' house for dinner in the last 5 or 6 years. I'm not talking about my parents. My parents are pretty laid back, but you get it. You guys have converted with friends of the social circles that are a little bit older. I'll just read a paragraph, and I won't get into the details, so you can go read it for yourself because we're going to talk UFOs. We're going to talk about them aliens. But I'm going to just get a quote one line from the Business Insider recap of this study that ran in the Journal of Psychology and Aging. A new study suggests that, contrary to popular belief, millennials aren't more sensitive than the baby boomer generation. In fact, it's the other way around. So, if anyone's calling all these young people snowflakes, data suggests it's the other way around. That actually, millennials are pretty chill about stuff compared to boomers. And they said this, so shout out to Gen Z, and then I'll pivot to aliens. One of the leading researchers with the project said this: based on our study, there's weak evidence to suggest that this younger generation is the worst in human history. So you hear that, Gen Z? You're not the worst.
Not the worst.
In human history.
Hey.
Congrats.
And I'm pretty sure that guy, the way he worded it, you know, like,
he's
not
definitely a millennial.
Yeah.
He's definitely a millennial.
I was going to say, or he's the boomer.
Yeah.
He's the oversensitive boomer. Like, well, look, our data says they're not as sensitive, but we'll just say this. They're not the worst ever to be born in the history of humanity. So
also, how would they know that, right? How would they ever be able to quantify that?
Yeah.
And how do we know what generations were like before, 100 years ago? You know what I mean? Like, come on. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So here's what I wanted to this is, and I'm so glad, Cameron, you brought this up because
I haven't ever received a text string as long as this one from you. So this is something you're very passionate about. You know what I mean? Normally your texts are fairly brief, normal, whatever. This was like one night. So yeah,
okay.
please tell the world.
So to recap, we're the world is anxiously awaiting the official release from the Pentagon. And by the time this drops, we could get this released because it could come any day.
My son, Caden, my oldest, is anxiously awaiting. Like he checked on like June 1st or something, and it wasn't there. He's waiting, so he's here.
Well, tell him to temper his expectations and listen to this slice instead, because don't believe what they're going to. So, a quick recap. In a legislative bill, since there were these leaks of what appeared to be unidentified flying objects performing unexplainable aerial maneuvers that including going underwater and coming back from the air without disrupting the surface of the water. Some really bizarre stuff that was captured on cameras of like fighter jets and really sophisticated military defense systems were leaked late last year. Lawmakers put in a provision in, I believe it was one of the COVID aid bills, that the Pentagon had until this summer to disclose what they know about what these objects are. Well, a lot of that report has already been leaked, or at least people with knowledge of the report are leaking kind of high-level overviews. And it's basically what they're saying is that don't get your hopes up too much for this report, because it's essentially the Pentagon using that emoji of like the shrugging, like, I don't know, Like, remember Michael Jordan's like assistant in The Last Dance when he beats him at coins, and he just does the Michael Jordan shrug, like, I don't know, maybe that was fun. That's basically what the Pentagon is doing in this report. They're saying, hey, this stuff's out there. We don't know what it is. Here's what we know. So a lot of the speculation has obviously gone, well, it's got to be aliens, and they're zooming around. Our government doesn't know. Nobody knows what these aliens want. They're zipping around. Well, I proposed a theory on this podcast that I think it's actually advanced aerospace technology from domestic black projects that our military, or at least portions of our military, knows a lot about already. But in order to keep this technology secret and hidden from our adversaries and kind of keeping our actual military capabilities secret for security reasons, are allowing the public to sort of perpetuate their own theories about what these things are in order to kind of shroud the real technology with secrecy as a security measure. So that's been my theory. And I've been doing some deep diving just independently, okay? And I've come across some pretty compelling evidence.
Like off of a high dive? Like into a pool or like into a lake?
Stop it.
Into the news.
He said he was doing deep dive. It's summer. I don't know. I thought he was going to another direction.
You're not going to believe it. I found a USB drive at the bottom of the swimming pool, and I plugged it in. I was like, the answers. Some Pentagon official.
I've been doing some deep diving.
Officials on the high dive before me. It slipped right out of that little netted pocket. That little netted pocket inside,
money falls out.
Bathing suits that like USBs. Older dudes wear. It just slipped right through the netting. Just slipped right through that. Netted, by the way, dudes, what's up with that netted underwear? You know what I'm saying? In bathing suits.
So the water can flow out.
I don't get it.
And so the water can flow out.
I know some people, I won't name names, cut it out because they don't like it in there.
Your husband?
I mean, I don't know. but I don't know. So maybe people can just cut it out if they don't like it. Okay, Jesse, before you go into your theory, so what you're saying is the government is saying, let the people keep talking. Like, let them keep believing there's UFOs, but it's really us. UFOs. Is that your theory?
It's my theory. Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
got it.
Exactly. My other part of my theory is that because evidence of this technology has actually been widely available for a long time, that they've actually released more evidence in hopes that it will be mixed in with kind of disinformation. And, you have this former Pentagon official whose credibility, but also credentials are being, constantly called into question, Louis Elizondo, who is sort of the former Pentagon official perpetuating a lot of the information that is leading people to believe it's aliens. They're allowing that all to go on, so it just creates mass sort of confusion. But I've started doing a deep dive, and I came across some really interesting things. And I want to start off with a really small story. I mean, this is probably a 600-word story. Cameron, this would be...
I can't unhear the fact that you were doing a deep dive and came across some really interesting things, like at the bottom of the pool. Like, can you use a different phrase? Because I keep picturing you swimming.
I go down a rabbit hole. How's that?
There you go. I
start Googling. It's not as sexy when it says, I'm up at 1 a.m. Googling by myself. Okay? It sounds way cooler when you think I am like actually sleuthing around. Like if I had like one of those little flashlights in my mouth and I'm like rifling through a file cabinet at the Pentagon late at night, before I have to like hide in the closet. And I'm like, oh no, they're on to me. And it's just the janitor mopping in the hall. Okay, come on guys, get back out. It's just the janitor. And we start going through the files. That sounds way cooler than to say I'm up at 2 a.m. Googling because I can't sleep. But I came across an article that if, Cameron, in magazine parlance would probably be a front matter item. It's around, 600 words.
Yeah, it's kind of a blurb,
not kind of a throwaway piece that included sketches of actual patents that were filed by or were declassified from the Pentagon years ago. So this was a front matter item that ran in an issue of Wired magazine in 2012. So a full decade ago, before anyone was really thinking about taking UFOs seriously. And so this was declassified and was found in the National Archives. And what it contains is actual sketches and drawings of details of a military project that was underway in the 1950s. These sketches and kind of plans date back to the 1950s. And they called it if anyone's curious is doing some independent research on this, it's called Project 1794. And basically what it proposes is that in 1956, the U.S. Air Force was contracted to create a new aviation technology that was basically flying saucer technology. So I want to read a quick blurb from this Wired magazine blurb. If the plans that follow through to completion, they would have created a saucer that could spin through the Earth's stratosphere at an average top speed of 2,600 miles per hour. Wow. It was designed to take off and land vertically using propulsion jets to control and stabilize the aircraft. Admittedly, the range of 1,000 nautical miles seems to be limited in comparison to other specifications, but if you hopped on the disc in New York, if it could have had you in Miami in 24 minutes. Okay, so this technology sounds a lot like what they're encountering in the skies over current military bases. And when you see the actual sketches, which again, these are available online, they were declassified over a decade ago. Okay, so this technology has sort of been hiding in plain sight for more than a decade now. According to official government documents, they ended up canning the project not long after it got underway, and here's the reason. Okay, so you guys tell me if that checks out. The cost of continuing the prototype was estimated at over $3 million. And it was just too expensive for them to continue. $3 million? Are you kidding me? The government, the military.
We just gave out 1.2 trillion 3 times.
Well, that was 1956 money too, and we didn't have the military budget back then that we do now. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. So that translates to about $26 million of current military budget.
I mean, they have toilets that cost that.
We don't believe you. You need more people.
One single fighter jet right now, a single with using conventional technology, costs hundreds of millions of dollars. Okay, and we have countless fighter jets in our Air Force. So the idea that they canned this project that would have absolutely game-changing aerospace technology in our fingertips, they just say they canned it because it was too expensive, when observably that seems to be not a barrier for new technological innovations with the military, aerospace technology. Here's my theory that if we know that the government was experimenting with this technology in the 1950s, they got so far down the line that they at least thought it was theoretically possible to create a craft that could take off and land vertically and could get passengers safely from New York to Miami in under 25 minutes. That's with 1950s era technology. Okay.
That's insane.
I said this in the car to the guys. This is how rapidly aerospace technology evolves. Okay, you could have been alive, right? You had been young, but you could have been alive when the Wright brothers took their little hang glider off the Kitty Hawk in sand dune for humanity's first flight. Which I live close to Kitty Hawk. I've been on 1,000 field trips there. It's not that impressive. You could huck a disc golf frisbee as far as the Wright brothers get, literally off the top of that sand dune. Okay, it is not that impressive. That could have happened in your lifetime, and you could have also witnessed humanity landing on the surface of the moon. Okay, so if you think that in one lifetime,
in Phoenix, Arizona,
a 60-year period, we go from barely being able to lift off a sand dune to being able to get to the moon. It's been more time has passed since that. More time passed between now and the 1950s when these patents were first filed than passed between the Wright brothers taking off on the moon. So you're telling me that with the 1950s technology that was in development at the time, it was kind of mysteriously just sort of ceased, that they just pulled the plug on it. It seems much more plausible to me that advanced aerospace technology has been in development for decades. It got to the point where they had to make the decision whether this will be publicly released technology or they would keep it secret to preserve national security, but also defense superiority. To me, that seems pretty plausible, especially compared to the theory that it's aliens. So all of these patents and declassified documents, here's the brilliance of the Pentagon strategy. They've been hiding this information in plain sight. They knew that if they hid this and it got leaked, it would blow the lid off. But if they just slowly leak out these patents and they end up in front matter of tech magazines, it is a perfect cover for a disinformation campaign to lead the public to think that this is something else that is unrelated to defense project. That's my theory. And
what I learned through hearing all that is it's amazing what you can find at the bottom of large pools.
Oh my God.
If you dive deep enough and look around enough, the stuff that falls out of these mesh pockets is amazing.
This man just gave you he just laid out this whole thing for like 25 minutes. You talking about the bottom of a fictional pool. Bro.
Deep dives, man. Deep dives can reveal a lot of stuff.
Jesse, this is some good investigative journalism right here.
I'm with you, Jesse. I rock with you. I rock with you, bro. I think what you're saying makes a lot of sense, though.
For sure.
If anyone wants to see imagery, again, from declassified patents filed by defense agencies, you can actually go look at them online. And again, that's part of the brilliance of this
we'll link to them on
strategy.
the podcast episode page at relevantmagazine.com. We'll put the links there.
And I'll share them with my son.
There you go.
So there we go. There we go.
All right.
And boomers are too sensitive.
So chill out.
Well, because they're dropping stuff in the pool and you're telling all their secrets. So they're all rattled right now.
Exactly. Hey, I'm just gonna vacuum your pool, Mr. Neighbor who works for the Pentagon. No big deal. Finders keepers down there, right?
Finders keepers down there. All right, what do you have, Jamie?
Okay, so this is way different from what we just heard from Jesse. But y'all aren't Texas people, but have you ever been to the Texas State Fair?
Yeah. No, I haven't been to Texas State Fair. I've been to Tennessee State Fair.
This is embarrassing what I'm about to say, is that I am a Texan. I've lived here my whole life, and I've never been to the fair, but it's my goal this year. I want to go. But one thing I know about the Texas State Fair is that they fry everything. Like you can eat like fried
everything. Mm-hmm.
I
think that's most state fairs, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a state fair
fried
thing.
Fried Oreos. Fried pickles. Funnel cake, fried pickles, all that. Yeah.
I love fried food. I'm like here for this. Like I love it so much. But there is something that is... it's not necessarily new because it's been happening for a while, but it's getting a little traction with the COVID. Remember last year in COVID, everyone's like, they're going to make that pasta feta dish, or they're going to make bread, or we're going to try to do all these things that we find online. But here's this, guys. Are you ready for this? People are deep frying water.
white people are deep frying water. Just make sure that you clarify that.
Again,
Wait, that makes no sense.
Ice, Jamie. I just talked about nuclear fusion.
One person deep frying the water.
I spent the last 3 weeks looking at patents of hyperfusion particle accelerators for new means of jet propulsion, and this is more confusing. How do you deep fry water?
It's very confusing because oil and water, they don't mix, right?
Right.
Like, this is not a thing.
I would think, yeah.
We would think. And so in this article that I have here about deep frying water, it is very weird and it's very strange. And it's not just like you take water from your faucet and fry it, because that's impossible, right?
Right.
But they have all these chemicals and it makes like a gelatin-like substance. So you really have this like almost jelly molded thing that you're frying. So it's water, but it has chemicals in it, all these big words that I can't really say, that binds the water in a liquid membrane, and then you can fry it.
So it's not good for you, clearly, right?
It's fried. I mean, but it's like,
why would you do it?
Water.
But the manipulated water is the thing that I'm more scared of. It's like I don't want to eat like gel
all the
stuff.
stuff
All the
that's in it.
chemicals and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Ew.
But this is, it's people are doing it on TikTok.
Also, what would
People
that
are doing
taste
this.
like?
There's-
I mean, like the whole thing of fried food is you're biting into something. Water has no taste. Like what?
Just y'all make sure y'all season it, put some salt on it, and all that.
Maybe if you're trying to, you're trying to watch what you eat, but you like fried food, you just got fried water. I don't know.
Okay, here's the thing, Jamie. At some point in the COVID process, when we weren't eating out as much, and my Uber Eats bills were
Way too high,
rivaling
yeah.
my mortgage, we decided to invest in an air fryer. Okay,
Yeah. Oh, we know. You cured
we
allergies.
Heard about it.
Yeah.
We heard about
and
it.
I don't know how this device works. All I know is I put food in, I turn it on, and it comes out perfectly crispy and fried. Okay. It makes me think like, what's if you can in a traditional fry water and consume it, how does this air fryer not fry in the air? Like, how can I not be like, hey, that's cool, you got fried water, I got fried air over here.
Well, it's like your statue that we talked about last week. It's like, why do we have fried water here? But it's also making other people fry Kool-Aid, dry ice. I mean, I think it's just people trying to be
Black
dumb
people
and
might
funny
be
and
frying
experimental.
Kool-Aid, and I ain't gonna even hold you.
See?
That we might
There
be.
you go. I know.
That sounds.
But
All
wait,
right.
wait,
Okay.
frying dried ice though? The dried ice I thought can kill you.
It's dangerous.
Yeah.
Can't that
Yeah,
kill
I know.
you?
This,
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why people are
think
doing this. Hopefully they're
This
not
is called
eating it.
natural selection. If you're a person who's going to deep fry dry ice, let nature run its
Natural
course. You know what I'm saying?
selection.
Like,
This is the Tide Pod Challenge.
yeah, just hey man, to each his own. The world will be better at the end of this journey. You know what I mean?
No. The people that advanced humanity forward throughout history are the ones who are willing to risk their own lives for the sake of seeing what would happen if we drop some dried ice in a deep fryer and then try to eat it. You know, if it wasn't for people that were wired to try things like that, we
Where would
wouldn't
we
even
be?
have the wheel right now. Okay, sometimes you got to roll the dice a little because technological advancements stop for no one. Okay. Right. Someone's dropping fried ice. Someone is going to try it. Okay. At some point, some human is going to be like, dude, I should drop some dry ice in the fryer to see what happens.
See what
and
happens.
then I should eat it, see what it tastes like. It's either going to be you enterprising a fry person or somebody else. It might as well be you. I appreciate these efforts. Jamie.
Humanity, we probably got about 20 more years left.
Between the flying saucers and the people that are frying dried ice as
Frying
an
water.
appetizer.
Or I know y'all saw the video of the girl talking about the COVID vaccine turns you magnetic.
Oh my gosh.
And she,
Unbelievable.
poor baby, she was trying to put the key on her neck and it wasn't sticking.
What's funny? Okay, what's funny about that is like I've heard two different conspiracies about the magnetic vaccines. Because some people are like, go get a kitchen magnet and jam it on the site of your buddy's vaccination,
it's the oil in your skin, guys.
And it's like, well, this lady's trying metal. Other people say it's the magnets. Which one is it? Like, does it make me magnetized, or does it inject metals that make me, susceptible to magnetism? I just want
to be Magneto. That's all I want to do. I just want to be like the X-Men and fly and all that stuff.
Thank you. Because what I was thinking is, she's actually incentivizing vaccines. I not only am protected from COVID-19, I now have magnetic powers. Cool.
I can fly.
That should be one of their incentives, how they're giving money away and guns. They should be like, guess what?
And superpowers.
Turn into a superhero.
Yeah, West Virginia, you hear that? You already giving out guns. You're giving out $1 million. Now just tell people you turn them into X-Men and the whole state will be vaccinated tomorrow.
Yep.
Feel me?
All right. What do you have, Derek?
Since Jesse stole my slice and just blew over my slice about the boomers being hypersensitive, I had to find.
I'm sorry.
I had to find another one, but I'm glad I did. So, how many people here have bought a home in the last couple of years? Or you've been looking at home prices and see that they're going up. Well, there's a reason they're going up.
Crazy.
There's a pension. There's a company called BlackRock and several other $1 trillion companies are buying homes 20 to 30% above market value. Sometimes they're buying whole neighborhoods. So it's not that. I know the thing is Californians are moving out of California and going to other places.
I'll tell you where they're coming. Austin, Texas.
But it's not the Californians. It could be the Californians, or it also could be that these big $1 trillion companies are just buying all these single family units up and renting them out to people.
They're renting them?
Why?
Yeah, because it's they have the money to do it. So it's capitalism being capitalism. It's like, hey, there's opportunity here. We're buying all of this stuff, and if we buy up the home market, we get to control it. The more you own it, the more you get to control it. So it was in the Wall Street Journal. It says you now have permanent capital competing with a young couple trying to buy a home, said John Burns, whose eponymous real estate consulting firm estimates that in many of the nation's top markets, roughly 1 in every 5 houses sold is bought by someone who never moves in. That's going to make U.S. housing permanently more expensive. So this is another one. This is for you, Jamie. It says, the consulting firm found Houston to be a favorite haunt of investors who have lately accounted for 24% of the home purchases there. Investors' slice of the housing market grows as it does in other boom towns such as Miami, Phoenix, and Las Vegas, among properties priced below $300,000 and more. So in decent school districts. So in all these areas, they're buying up all of these homes, up to 25% in Houston. That's crazy, right?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So basically, if you're starting out, young couple, you have no chance of buying a house, is what you're saying.
You
You're
have
screwed
chance.
right now.
I've said that 1,000 times. I'm like, how does a person who graduates and has a great job, and how do they buy a house in Austin, Texas? I just don't know how they do, because it's impossible. People are selling their houses and getting 25 offers within 24 hours, and it's like $50,000, $75,000 above asking price. It is crazy.
Yeah.
Well, that tripped me out when it said 1 of 5 are bought by people who never move into the homes. Like, that's crazy.
Well, but think about it. So they overpay. This investment firm overpays by 30%. And his history will tell you that the housing market will always appreciate eventually if the road's long enough. You know what I mean? Look at housing prices from the 50s to now, right? So if they're holding an asset that they overpaid for today, but it's generating income every month, and then 10 years down the road, that asset will be worth more than what they paid today. So it's an investment that will appreciate eventually and will make income the entire time you're holding it. Of course, investors would be scooping them up.
I wish I had some of those houses.
You know what I'm saying?
But the other side of that coin is we've seen what happened when that bubble inflates too fast, and instead of growing steadily over time, it bursts and resets.
Yeah, but think about it. But it resets
within our lifetime.
Yeah, the stock market does this too. It does burst and reset. Think about 2008. The Big Short and all that. The housing market. But look, it took a while. But 10 years later, housing prices are way higher than they were then. So eventually the asset that you overpaid for will be worth that or more. And it made money for you the entire time you held it.
And these guys are talking. These are trillionaires. Like these aren't millionaires, billionaires.
They can wait it out.
Yeah, they can
wait it out. That's exactly right. It's eventually
So
going to be worth what they paid, if not more.
Because the problem is the average, couple who purchase a home, and then if all of a sudden the bubble bursts, even if it's a temporary reset, and the value will eventually climb. If you're sitting on a house that's technically underwater, where you owe much more than it's worth, then you're in a lot of trouble if you don't have the resources, which there aren't a lot of people who do, to be able to then manage an upside down asset, and a lot of people, you lose the benefit of being able to utilize the equity you have in your home to kind of secure up other assets if all of a sudden that asset is now worth much less than you owe on it. Now you're in trouble.
You're right. I mean, but the big difference between 12 years ago, that bubble popping, and now was the predatory lending practices back then.
Yeah, that's true.
Now people are getting
interest rates,
fixed interest rates, 15 and 30-year mortgages, and so it's way less risky than back then when they were doing those. And after like 3 or 5 years, like they would
adjustable rates,
adjustable rate mortgage, and then all of a sudden their asset is worth nothing, and they owe this huge mortgage on it, and that's where people were getting foreclosed on. So, man,
crazy.
So thanks for the encouraging news, Derek, for all of our, young couples that are starting out.
Hey, sorry, guys.
Find a nice apartment. That's all we're saying.
Sorry, guys.
Real talk. Okay,
Get
real
a tiny
talk.
home.
Real talk. I don't know if I have to disclose this. I don't know how this works, but because I'm not a financial expert, I have no skin in this game. I hold no aerospace stock. But if I were objectively looking at where you could make an investment right now, I don't think it would be a bad call to at least have something in a company like Lockheed Martin, because this now that the horses have sort of left the barn with this aerospace technology. If it is in fact terrestrial aerospace technology, it will eventually come to the private sector. And if stuff is already kind of being leaked and being made public, private industries are going to try to do their best to sort of reverse engineer what they now know is possible. I think aerospace technology investments is one area that is likely to go up in the next few years.
So what you're saying is, since you can't afford to invest in a house, buy aerospace stocks.
Yeah.
But we're not advising, because we could get into a lot of trouble for that. So you're just a friend.
It's just
I'm just saying how, look, if any news story ultimately presents an opportunity, you take a roll of dice and invest in flying saucer tech. I mean, you can't invest in a house. Can't invest in a house anymore. They're out of reach. Why don't I take my moonshot here, literally, with technology that can go to the moon?
I like it. Okay, that'll do it for Slices. Stay tuned. Up next, Christine Caine joins us. You're listening to John Summit and Parachute Youth. The song is Better Than This. Well, today's episode is also brought to you by BetterHelp. In 2021, mental health is finally a thing we can talk about. So many people are struggling right now and aren't feeling like their normal selves. And guess what? Therapy helps. It doesn't have to be sitting around just talking about your feelings. So what is therapy exactly? It's whatever you want it to be. You can talk privately to someone if you feel like you're not dealing well with stress, or if you're having relationship issues. Whatever you need, don't be ashamed of normal struggles and start feeling better, because you deserve to be happy. And now you don't have to worry about finding an in-person therapist near you to help. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy. You can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. Join the millions of people who are seeing what therapy is really about. See if it's for you. because you are your greatest asset. And right now, BetterHelp is offering a special offer for Relevant Podcast listeners. You can get 10% off your first month at BetterHelp.com/relevant. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/relevant to save 10% off your first month. Well, if you've been following along for the last couple of months, we've been doing a content series called Quarter Life, specifically focused on the issues and topics you tackle in your 20s. Everything from career to faith, relationships, mental health, wellness, so much more. We're talking to well-known authors, entrepreneurs, faith leaders, and others. We're doing it to encourage and inspire you to make the most of this season of life. We do a new article at relevantmagazine.com every Tuesday and Thursday and have a conversation with leaders and influencers here on every podcast. Go check it out, the Quarter Life section at relevantmagazine.com. The 12-week series is sponsored by our friends at UHSM. As you're rethinking everything in your 20s, you should rethink your healthcare as well. Go check out what UHSM is doing. It's revolutionary. Well, our Quarter Life conversation today is with a person who needs no introduction, Christine Caine. She's an author, activist, sought-after speaker. She's known for her ability to effectively communicate a message of hope. She has a heart for reaching the lost, strengthening leadership, and championing the cause of justice. With her husband, Nick, she co-founded the A21 campaign to fight human trafficking and propel women to encourage women to reach their full potential. She recently talked to us about how easily we can fall into spiritual burnout without even realizing it happened, how to keep our guard up, and what to do when we get there. Here's part of our conversation with Christine Caine.
Can you tell me sort of the origin story of the book, why you decided to write on this topic?
You know, the two anchor things, I think, obviously was the loss of my mom and the loss of a friendship. I think those two things, for a kid that was abandoned, abused, adopted, that rejection, it just triggered a lot of the things. At the same time, I don't know if you remember, Tyler, but the end of 2016, beginning of 2017 was a little bit of a volatile time here in North America.
Rings a bell.
Maybe you slept through it. I'm not sure.
Feels like 100 years ago, but I do, but it does ring a bell. Yeah.
But it was like, you know, subsequently to that, we've had a lot going on, but it was sort of the beginning of the visible shaking. Like there had been a shaking, I'd say, going on for years before that, but it was like, oh my gosh, we're all starting to see the tower is crumbling, whatever that might be. And so, you know, of course, there was the political stuff and there was everything else, but it was like, so, and when you have a public profile of sorts, you know, suddenly everyone thinks you're an expert on everything and everyone wants an opinion on everything. And it's like, really, I do not have a degree on every subject on earth. And just the weight of it all. I think sometimes people forget that you're a real person. And, you know, and in the midst of that, you're running, you got a job, you're making mistakes, you're trying to get stuff right. You're just a human being that is getting through all of this. Anyway, so there was this one day I went in, Nick was watching, it was a documentary on this thing called Hell Week. And I didn't know that the Navy, before you get in the Navy SEALs, you go into this Hell Week thing where they try to break you down. So for 1 week, you basically don't sleep. This guy's yelling at you the whole time, telling you you're a loser. And then you carry all these things. And the whole goal is to get you to ring the bell, to just go, I'm out. So
like mentally, just like, I'm not doing it.
I'm done. And you know, I'm not going to make it. So as I'm watching this, I start to cry. You know, it's not many people are going to cry during Hell Week watching it. And we're just not. And Nick goes, you know, what's up? And I said, I think this is how I feel. It was then that journey of going, I realized in my own heart, when I say I've drifted, not like drifted from obedience to Christ, but I had drifted from a true passion for my purpose. I drifted from the mission of going, I'm going to go, you know, foot on the gas all the way till I go home kind of thing, whatever that might mean. You know, that could mean anything. It made me really have to dig deep to go, where really am I anchored? If as a 55-year-old woman speaking to, you know, at this point, still some of the younger generation are listening, what is it that I've got to say? Because it's not about my achievements or accomplishments. It's like, you know, man, if you are going to run this race and finish this course and not drift, this is what I've got for you. This is the only stuff that I know that is going to keep you anchored.
If you could go back and sort of prep Chris in 2015 for what was coming, what would you tell her that could maybe have kept you anchored instead of, that could have kept you and prepared you at a spiritual level for the storms that you were about to go through, as we all go through storms eventually?
Well, Tyler, I would kind of flip that a bit, because I think the reason I didn't drift out to sea is because of the practices I had developed. A lot of other things that I had hoped would keep me, whether it was relationships, systems, structures, no, they didn't. Like if that was, if my trust was there, I'd be out to sea with everybody else. But as I go through and talk about the value of, the word and prayer and church and healing and trusting God, I mean, we're talking basic biblical truths. And I hope I've unpacked them in a way that is really going to help people to think, no matter where they are, whether they think they're out at sea right now or whether they don't even realize they're drifting, because that is the most dangerous thing. And I keep saying it, you'll hear me say it 100 times. All you have to do to drift is nothing. Like in this period, if we all just are not proactively going, I better check my anchor, check the links in my chain and go, you know what? Am I really rooted and grounded in Christ? And some of these things that I think are negotiable. Does church really matter? Does reading the Bible really matter? Does praying really matter? Does community really matter? Does gossip really matter? Does slander really matter? Does sleeping around really matter? Does this, all the stuff that we think does it? I'm like, y'all need to check the links in your chain, because some of the stuff that we are flippant with, when a Category 5 hurricane comes, and it will come for all of us, I think being part of a life-giving community is very, very important, because I wouldn't have made it alone. I mean, you think, wow, I've been doing this for a lot of decades. I'm on the front lines doing this, but the practice of gathering, I think is so important. It's not just a token thing. In that season, Tyler, to be honest, there were times I couldn't take myself to Jesus. I needed someone to carry me, and drop me at the feet of Jesus and go. So I think that's very, very important. I think in our day and age, to not devalue the importance of prayer. I know, I speak to a generation, and oftentimes I'll say to me, does prayer really even matter? Does God really even listen? Does it even make a difference? I mean, look at the state of the world. And I've had many young people like, are you serious, Chris? Do you really believe that prayer makes a difference? And my thing is, I still, 30 years in intimate relationship with Jesus Christ, I can tell you it's real. I just want to encourage people and go, the anchor, Jesus is this hope we have as an anchor for our soul. He is worthy. He is faithful. He is just. And kind of in all of our wandering and all of our drifting, we've got to set that anchor down, man.
That was Christine Caine. Her new book, How Did I Get Here, is available now. And go read the feature we have with her in the brand new issue of Relevant, the summer issue. It's out now, and we have a fantastic feature with Christine in that issue. You can find it at relevantmagazine.com/magazine. Check it out.
Baby, I live to survive another heartache. I live to survive another mistake. I live to survive another heartache. I live to survive. I live to survive another heartache. I live to survive.
You're listening to Mo. The song is Live to Survive. It makes sense. Well, today's episode is brought to you by podcast creation platform Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor yet, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. First of all, it's free. There are custom tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will then distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and every major platform. The cool thing is you can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Well, like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, our buddy, artist, songwriter, Phil LaRue was on our trip in Wyoming with us. And he's based in Nashville. He's been influential in creating some of the biggest hits on the Christian chart over the last 2 decades, writing and working with artists like Jars of Clay and 10th Avenue North. He also creates his own music, and he just released a 3-song collection called Night Swimming, which is available now. We want to bring him on and introduce these songs to you and hear a little bit of the story behind them. Here is Phillip LaRue.
You and I should take a drive. Light 'em out and put it all down behind us. Love. You and I should take a drive. Light 'em out and put it all down behind us.
Mainly for people that are listening, like most of my time spent is like the guy you don't hear about. Like, I'm the songwriter behind the scenes. You know, I get to I write a lot of songs for a lot of amazing artists, and it's been an incredible thing to be the guy that you don't hear about or think about, and to serve other people's stories. But just like the last 3-4 years, I felt challenged to release my own music, and really went through an unexpected season of brokenness. And music became therapeutic for me all over again, to process my pain, to process my own questions. And I wrote a lot of sad songs, and it was really good for me to do, you know, for my own heart and my own soul. The idea behind that record, that EP, Night Swimming, it was my producer and I, Andrew Petroff, and I were we imagined taking a night drive. You know, I was I want to put myself, I want to go for a night drive with my wife, Lisa, and what would I feel? It's also interchanges talking about I didn't expect to be on this journey, but now that I'm with you, I want to embrace it and fully be present. And kind of this idea of, let's get in the car together and let's take a drive. Let's talk about the hard things, the beautiful things, and let's be together. I want to make something that matters, you know, even if it just matters to me, it has to matter. And I think that's risky, because as a creative and as an artist, I feel like the greatest songs are either birthed out of great pain or great joy. And then there's so many other songs in between, but the ones that we remember are either birthed out of great pain or great joy. And so I try to remind myself that. And so these 3 songs were birthed out of joy and romance and love, and allowing my heart to get swept away again, which is really risky. So I think I'm trying to celebrate my wife in a way that honors her and celebrates her, and trying to honor romance. As scared as I am about it, I do want to dive in and not be afraid. You know, I want to go into the deep, even though love is a scary, risky thing.
Lost inside the midnight of your eyes, Lost inside the midnight of your eyes, And we're diving, night swimming, and we're diving.
You know, magic is so fun, because we got into a big argument, and I can't even remember what we were arguing about. It was something petty, or, I probably did something stupid, or I can't remember. But anyways, I was reflecting on what a gift she was. And it's the first song I've ever written out lyrically first. Usually I'm, in my studio and I'm on my piano, or I'm on my guitar, and melodies are happening. And I wrote her this poem, called Magic. And it was just about her and how she really is feels at times like magic because she was unexpected. I didn't see it coming. And I feel like the chorus alludes to the fact like one touch and she puts me back together again. And I think that there was parts of me that were fragmented and broken, and she's been part of, piecing some things together that needed to be healed. And so I wrote out this, I sent her this poem, and I was going to be in the studio the next day, and I could kind of already hear the song in my head. And it was the first time I've ever done that, where it's all lyrics first.
That was Phil LaRue. Go check out Night Swimming. It's available now wherever you get your music. And stay tuned. Up next, it's our game.
I know a guy who claims that he is from a different planet. My friend's house is nice, but she will still take that for granted. We're leaving, we'll be home soon.
You're listening to Modest Mouse. The song is Leave a Light On. Okay, it's time for a game that our very own Tyler Huckabee wrote before he left for vacation. Okay, so Derek, Tyler's into superhero stuff like you, and so he was really excited this week about the release of Marvel's new series, Loki. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when Tyler pitched this game idea to me, and he started with Loki, I'm like, oh man, seriously? And he's like, no.
Loki's dope. What are you talking about?
He was like, wait, no, this isn't about superheroes. Yeah, so the idea isn't about superheroes. So just FYI. But Loki comes out, and then the number one film in the country right now is Cruella. So it's a big week for.
I've seen it. Is that going to help me?
Is it good?
And I'm just saying, Loki's a bad guy. Cruella's the villain. So it's a big week for bad guys. That's really the point. Is that it's gonna this summer is the summer that it's good to be bad.
Put that on a t-shirt.
That's what he wrote. That's what he wrote right there.
It's good to be bad.
But how good? Now this is the game. How good do you know bad? In this game, we're going to test your knowledge of the best of the bad. So twirl your mustache, poison your apples, and dust off your flying broomstick, because in this game, the only way to win big is to get bad. That's Tyler Huckabee's copy, everybody.
I love that.
He's amazing.
Pretty good. He's pretty good.
You got it.
Wow. All right, so what we're going to do is I got a list of questions that are going to be multiple choice. All three of you are going to play. So here you go. You're all against each other, every man and woman for themselves. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the question. I'm going to give you options, and I'm going to go around the horn, and y'all pick your answer, okay? And then Clark...
I'm just going to copy what Jesse says.
Yeah. But see, you might be sitting next to the kid who fails the math test, and you're copying the wrong person.
I'm a big faker, Derek.
All right, here we go. So first question. In 2019, audiences and critics flocked to Todd Phillips's The Joker, the grim, gritty exploration of the true origins of Gotham City's crown prince of crime. Joaquin Phoenix won an Oscar for the role, the second actor to win an Oscar for playing Batman's arch nemesis after the late, great Heath Ledger. Which other two actors have won an Oscar for the same character? Okay, for playing the same character. Is it A, Marlon Brando and Robert De Niro for Vito Corleone in The Godfather? Is it B, Charlton Heston and Jack Huston for Ben-Hur in Ben-Hur? Is it C, Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert Redford for Jay Gatsby in The Great Gatsby? Or D, John Malkovich and Matt Damon for Tom Ripley in The Talented Mr. Ripley? Let's go around the horn. Jesse, which one do you pick?
I feel pretty confident about A on this one.
A. All right. Derek.
A.
Jamie.
I hand to the heavens, I promise. I was going to pick A as well.
All right. The correct answer is A. Marlon Brando and Robert De Niro for Vito Corleone and The Godfather.
Come on, so Tyler, step up that game.
Tyler said it's going to start.
Jesse, don't say that, because he'll
I think he sandbagged. I think he sandbagged the first one to get our.
He did. That's what he told me. Yep, that's exactly what he did. All right, here we go. In 1992, the hit "The Candyman," audiences were introduced to a hook-handed, honeybee-wielding spook who menaced any unsuspecting residents of Chicago who dared say his name 5 times in a mirror. That movie's modern-day remake will release later this year to terrorize a new generation with hook-handed antics and a new swarm of bees. It's a good thing, too, because honeybees are perishing at an alarming rate. What percentage of honeybee hives are estimated to have been wiped out in the U.S. this last winter? Is it A, 20% of the honeybee hives wiped out in the U.S.? Is it B, 30%, C, 40%, or D, 50%? Jamie, we'll start with you.
I think it's so funny that this started with the movie and now we have to figure out how many honeybees are missing.
Related story.
This is classic Tyler. I'm just going to guess 40%, whatever letter that was. I don't even know.
40% is C. Derek, what's your answer?
B.
All right, 30%. And Jesse?
The new Candyman remake will be directed by Jordan Peele, an acclaimed director. Also, banana peels. They contain what percentage of edible calories in the average banana? Derek, we'll start with you. I'm gonna go with A, 20%.
Okay, the correct answer is Jamie, C. 40% of honeybee hives were estimated to have been wiped out this past winter in the U.S. So 40%. So maybe invest in honey futures.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we're throwing out advice. Honey and flying saucers. Okay. What was the John Maynard Keynes Guns and Butter? The modern version of that is honey and flying saucer.
All right, here we go. Next question. As Broadway opens back up in the Big Apple, audiences are flocking back to see Wicked, the reimagined origin story of Dorothy's foe in The Wizard of Oz, which casts the Wicked Witch of the West as a misunderstood outcast who nevertheless teams to defy gravity with the help of her friends and rivals. Since its Broadway debut in 2003, Wicked has gone on to huge acclaim, becoming the second highest grossing musical of all time. Behind what other stage show? Is it A, The Phantom of the Opera, B, Cats, C, Rent, or D, The Lion King? Derek, we'll start with you.
What was the choices again? Phantom of
the Opera, Cats, Rent, or The Lion King?
I'm going with the kitty cats, B.
All right. Jesse?
I'm going to say Lion King.
Okay. And Jamie?
Phantom of the Opera.
The correct answer is The Lion King. Jesse knows his Broadway. He knows his...
The only reason I know is because, like...
Well, how is that the most? It's been around for like 10 years.
But you got to think ticket prices too. It's like box office receipts are way different now.
I feel like Phantom of the Opera is like classic. Everyone wants to see it.
Yeah, but that was the 80s ticket prices. This is now they're paying $150 for a bad seat, you know?
And the other thing too is I don't know how like all the math was calculated, but anecdotally, I know that when I was a kid, I went to the Lion King at like our local, Chrysler Hall or the little theater in town. I went on 2 field trips to see the Lion King in 2 different grades. There was a busload. There was like 8 busloads for every show. You know, I think on field trip revenue alone, Lion King, the school districts are doing this. They have crushed it because teachers are like, sweet, we get out of the classroom for a little while. Well, what's the safe choice? What is no parent's going to complain? Okay, Phantoms.
Not Rent. We don't want Rent.
We don't. We don't want to introduce complex residential housing politics into the classroom. We can't talk about Phantoms. I know that. Get the Lion King kids in here. Just busload after busload.
All right, Clark, what's the score?
So it's Jesse 2, Derek 1, Jamie 2.
There you go. All right, next question. In the first movie, God's Not Dead, college student Josh Wheaton is plagued by cultural pressure and inner doubt when his evangelical beliefs are put to the test by the evil Professor Radisson, the atheist philosophy prof, played by Kevin Sorbo. Sorbo may have been bad in this movie, but he's best known for playing the heroic Hercules in the late 90s television adaptation of The Strong Man from classic mythology. The show was so popular that it spawned several spin-offs, including Young Hercules, in which our teenage hero was portrayed by what modern-day A-lister? Was it Jake Gyllenhaal, Chris Hemsworth, Ryan Gosling, or Chris Evans? Jesse, we'll start with you. Young Hercules spinoff played by one of those 4 actors. He went from God's Not Dead, him being a bad guy in God's Not Dead, to Hercules, to a spinoff of Hercules.
It's not even.
Can you read them one more time,
read the
Cameron?
choices one more.
Jake Gyllenhaal, Chris Hemsworth, Ryan Gosling, or Chris Evans?
I'm going to go, man, this is tough. I don't know. I'm just going to throw a flyer. Hemsworth. Can I also say that a listicle that Tyler and I collaborated on many years ago that was titled 9 Spooktacular Costume to Wear to This Year's Harvest Party? We suggested one of them. And this is at the height of the God's Not Dead. This was like the year it came out. We said that you should go as zombies Kevin Sorbo. And we said that in life, he molded young minds. In death, he will eat them. And so he dies at the end of God's Not Dead. He died at the end of God's Not Dead.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. There you go.
Spoiler alert. All right, Jamie, what's your answer? Jake Gyllenhaal, Chris Hemsworth, Ryan Gosling, or Chris Evans?
I'm guessing Jake Gyllenhaal.
All right, and Derek?
Going Ryan Gosling.
Correct answer, Ryan Gosling. Derek got that. All right, next question. Here we go. In The Wire, the real bad guy is society. As David Simon's defining prestige drama plumbs the depths of crime and corruption in Baltimore through the lens of the people trying to navigate the complications of contemporary life through mazes of political intrigue, bad apples in the police department, systemic injustice, and human greed. The show launched the careers of countless character actors, and a few more so than Michael K. Williams, who got his first acting gig when which well-known rapper said Williams looked menacing enough to, quote, be my little brother. Was the rapper the Notorious B.I.G., Tupac Shakur, Dr. Dre, or Toby Mac? Jamie, we'll start with you.
Can you tell me the year that this happened? This is going to help me.
No.
Is that
it would have been the 90s because The Wire started at the end of the 90s. And so he got it.
We're still alive then?
Everybody in the list was alive when they would have said this to
That's what
Michael K. Williams.
I was going to see if there was a loophole. Okay, yeah. I'm going to go with Notorious B.I.G.
Okay, Derek?
Man, what's the list again, bro?
So Michael K. Williams, his first acting gig was in a music video because the rapper said, you could be my little brother. You look like you could be my little brother. And the list is Notorious B.I.G., Tupac Shakur, Dr. Dre, or Toby Mac.
Which it would help me if I knew who this guy was.
He was in The Wire.
Michael K. Williams or whatever.
He was in The Wire.
I don't know that. I don't know this.
He's an iconic bad guy. Iconic bad guy in The Wire.
Sorry.
I'm going Dre.
Okay.
I'm
Jesse?
going to say, you come at the king, you best not miss. Dr. Dre. Let's do it.
If you know what Michael K. Williams looks like with that scar and stuff, it's Pac. Tupac Shakur. Yep.
I didn't know if Pac was alive during that time. I'm going to keep it gangster.
That's what I was trying to ask.
Yep.
I was thinking, but I mean, Pac, yeah, definitely. All right, next question. In 1992, Nintendo introduced Wario, the sinister counterpart to Mario and Luigi's video game exploits with fire flowers, Koopa Troopers, and invincible stars. With his zigzag mustache, burly arms, and snide demeanor, Wario frustrates the Mario Brothers' attempts to rescue Princess Peach and bring peace to the Mushroom Kingdom. That's been Mario's goal since his very first appearance in 1981, when he debuted in the original Donkey Kong arcade game under what name? Was the character's name that eventually became Mario? Was it Mr. Plumber, Guido, Jumpman, or King Peach? Derek, we'll start with you. You went from the bad guy Wario to Mario Brothers to the debut. First time we saw the character.
Anytime there's that much context for a question, I know. But I do feel like I know the answer. I feel like I know the answer to this one.
Mr. Plumber, Guido, Jumpman, or King Peach?
The Plumber, Guido, Jumpman, or King Peach?
That was the original.
It's like a clue game.
Yep.
The Plumber.
Okay, Jesse?
Jumpman.
And Jamie?
I was going to say the plumber too, but okay. I'm nervous now because Jesse seems so confident.
The character was first known in 1981 as Jumpman. There you go. Jesse got the point. All right. Where are we at,
Nerd
Clark?
stuff. I've been friends with Tyler too long. He brings this kind of stuff up conversation. Tyler, how you doing, man? How's life in Nashville? Good. Did you know in 1981 the original name for Mario was Jumpman? Anyway, things are good. Family's good. Hey, by the way, the honeybee population declined by 40% last year. Yeah. What's going on in your life? You still vacuuming in pools recreationally? Just seeing what's down there?
What's the score?
Okay, so Jamie and Derek are tied. Jesse is leading with 3. Derek and Jamie have 2.
And they have two each? All right.
They have 2.
Okay. So here's the final question, the seventh question, and it's worth 2 points. So if Jesse gets it wrong and y'all get it right, one of you could win. Here we go.
That's right.
Here it is. Lucifer, the morning star of creation, was cast out of heaven by God and the angels and has been the enemy of creation ever since.
What movie was this? What movie was this? I'm not familiar with this story.
The ultimate bad guy, Lucifer. During the Middle Ages, the Knights Templar were accused of worshiping a half-goat, half-human creature known as Baphomet. And physical traits like goat hooves, a tail, and horns soon became associated with popular depictions of the devil. Ironically, the goat is also used to mean the greatest of all time, a designator recently bestowed on U.S. gymnast Simone Biles for perfecting her signature move, the Biles, which is a triple twist double somersault, a double twist triple somersault, a double flip backward somersault, or a cartwheel twist double backflip. A, B, C, or D.
Oh my gosh. I just read about this, but all those
Derek
words I don't
looks
know.
so mad right now.
They all
He's
sound
just
the same.
Say, all those moves sound impossible, you know? And
They all sound
and
the
here's
same,
the thing.
too.
I saw a clip of her performing this maneuver. I saw like the gif of it, or whatever. And I couldn't even tell what happened in the air. I was just very impressed. I just saw it was like in the cartoons where the Tasmanian devil just starts spinning and it's just
fast.
like just limbs and air. Like that's what it's like. You're like, wow, I have no idea what you did in the air, but I know it was very,
Derek
very
looks so mad or bored or so. I don't know what, but
bro, that fucking had nothing to do with Lucifer, bro. Like, I'm just like, bro, why is you just get stop it?
The goat was the depiction of Satan, and then the goat is also the greatest of all time. And Simone Biles is the goat.
Here's what I'm proposing.
True.
I'm proposing we all just pick a letter and just roll with it here. We got
I mean, what is
because
there's no reasoning around this.
Derek is saying confidently. Derek's saying that the Biles is a double twist, triple somersault. B. Okay, Jesse.
I'm gonna go A. Whatever that is.
Triple twist, double somersault is what Jesse chose. Okay, and
I'm going with C.
Double flip, backward somersault. All right, the correct answer and the winner of the game is A. Jesse. The Biles is a triple twist, double somersault. There you go.
Listen,
She's
the only
goat,
reason,
man.
real talk,
goat.
guys. That was all a bluff. The real reason I know that is because I've been spending a lot of time vacuuming pools for people who work for the Pentagon.
Yeah.
Came across a pretty sweet high dive. I pulled up the Biles. And guys, you're not gonna believe it. I nailed it. I nailed it off this guy's high dive. And I also found some pretty sensitive national security secrets in the skimmer baskets. So I don't know what's going on over there.
All right. Well, congratulations. Oh my gosh. And here's the thing. There's actually a lot more questions. I just they're so dense. I'm pulling the cord. I'm pulling the cord right now. Oh my gosh. That'll do it for.
I'm gonna fight Tyler, bro.
Hey, you gotta give it to him though. I mean, this is intense. This is good. This is good game writing.
Can you imagine
here.
being on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Yeah, and they're like, oh, sweet. This is a question about Lucifer. I actually have a degree in theology. Let's hear it, Regis. And you're like, are you kidding me, bro? Are you kidding me? What friend would I phone? Okay, that knows the intricacies of a gymnastics move that was invented a week ago. Okay,
right?
Who am I gonna call? Who would know that?
When it went to the goat, I was just like, oh man. Like I was twisting, I was reading it live, twists and turns. I had no idea where it was going to end up either.
Bro, I had so much anxiety about the last question, bro. Like I'm just like, bro, what is he about to say?
Oh man! All right, well that'll do for the new game, The Bad Guy. Well, it's the year of the bad guy. Maybe it'll make a reappearance. Who knows? Okay. Well, before we wrap up, I want to thank Christine Caine for joining us today. Make sure to check out her new book, How Did I Get Here? It's available now. Also, make sure to read our feature with her in the summer issue of Relevant. Just came out this week. Don't want to miss it. It's available at relevantmagazine.com. Just click on the magazine tab right there at the top. Thank you also to our buddy Phillip LaRue for joining us. Go check out his new 3-song collection. It's called Night Swimming. It's beautiful. It's awesome. Also, make sure to go check out our Quarter Life section when you're at the site. Right now, we're offering a new free ebook called the Quarter Life Handbook. When you go over there, it's a free download, features amazing insights and practical advice from leaders ranging from Shauna Niequist to Scott Harrison and so many more. It's an amazing resource and is available for free, just like the entire Quarter Life series, thanks to our friends at UHSM. Hey, also make sure to check out the Deeper Walk daily devotionals that we're doing every morning. We post a new one. We also have a Deeper Walk podcast. If you are more of a listener than a reader, it's we have a daily email that goes out for Deeper Walk. We have them on the site, and go check out the Deeper Walk podcast wherever you get your podcasts. It's really great. I listen to it every morning. It's good. On that note, we'll wrap it up. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Jamie Ivey.
And I'm confused.
We'll see you next Friday. Have a great week, everyone.
Thanks for listening to the Relevant Podcast. Check out our features, interviews, and news updates every day at relevantmagazine.com. And make sure to follow Relevant on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest. For more great podcasts, browse the shows on the Relevant Podcast Network, which you can find at our site. And while you're there, don't miss the all-new era of Relevant Magazine. A new issue releases every other month at relevantmagazine.com.
Roll a dice and invest in flying saucer tech.
Relevant Podcast Network.